Okay, Mr. Maxwell, we have got further problems and complications as you may have possibly
Naturally.
guessed.
Naturally. Bring them on.
Bring him on. Okay.
He
All right.
says,
Well,
trailing off at the end there.
bring him on.
Bring them on.
Yeah. Um. So, where to start? Um. So I chatted to the developer very briefly about LibreChat, and then I poked around at the project more. I ground at it with codecs, and I poked at it with my eyes, and I understood that there were several places where we could insert ourselves in the code base. And then I was like, I started to get nervous because I looked up the problems of LibreChat using Grok, and it was like, well, it's kind of buggy and unstable. And then I read more about the guy that made it, and full credit to him, he's done an amazing job on a code base, and it's a fully featured platform, but he's not really a coder. He only said he started coding in 2022, and I was like, that's amazing. But also, it's like largely him, and the code base may not be. I started to get the sense that it was a little bit packed. You know, like when when you see like a car and I've modded the engine and it's like you lift up the bonnet and it's ram packed in there and you're like, no one's upgrading much in there, and if you want to change any little thing, it's get the crane out, lift the you just want to change the oil filter, and now it's like an engine rebuild. So it is good code, it is good quality code, but it was never made to be modularized or pulled out or anything like that, right? So then Grok starts hitting me with, it's not like this other thing and this other thing and this other thing. And I'm like, well, I did actually ask you about those other things earlier, motherfucker, but you didn't say anything. So long story short, I shouldn't waste your time with these anecdotal stories. I found multiple other options that provide open source chat UIs of varying degrees, and I narrowed them down, and I found one that I like, but it's not strictly open. It's kind of open. It's Apache license, but they're like, if you release a commercial product, you need to come and see us about a license. And I'm like, sort of fair enough. I mean, fair enough, whatever. And without further ado, let me show it to you. If I can find it even. I lost it, I think. Oh, here we go. Okay, so the reason why I want to show this to you and talk to you about it is that there's a lot of the environment has moved on a lot since we first started, and these guys have got like a store going, like they've got a store for MCP plugins and for assistants and all that. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, they got files, so we could have files, and I guess I started to feel like, our offering, the fact that we're offering Git files and multiple repos, and the fact that all your chats are on a repo and all that, it's sort of a little bit, I'm like, it's kind of not that as big a deal as we might have thought. Like the further on features like consensus, the fact that you've got data self-sovereignty, the fact that we're going to make these long-running agents, and the fact that we're going to have like actual proper agents that can do things like ambient attribution, that's different. But yeah, it just sort of struck me that I'm not sure that the whole Git thing is what people want necessarily. Um, I don't want to sound negative about it, but I just wanted to show you some of the features of this particular platform because this whole thing is open source, forkable, and these guys, I love these guys because what they've done is they first of all made a freaking UI library of components that do really nice things for AI chats. Like, for example, here's a really hard one: the input area, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the messages, the ability to make like a list of messages and then edit the messages so you can twiddle, is it system, is it input, is it output, whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they built the components first, which is excellent for extensibility, whereas like LibreChat wasn't made at all for extensibility. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of actual stars, like I think LibreChat was like uh I forget
It's
number of stars.
tens of thousands. It was five figure, I remember,
Right.
and about 5K commits and
Right.
something like that.
Something solid, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, "Wow, look at that. That's amazing." And then there's these guys. I just this one 63,000 13K forks,
That's about three times the size there.
right? McMassive. Like, and then there was
Yeah.
this other one I found that was like 100K stars and all that. So there's actually quite a rich ecosystem of these things going on. And I guess it's what we got to juggle around is like, what are the incentives of each one, and what's it going to cost us, and how easy is it to refine this one. I feel like this is the clear winner because they made a UI library first and they built this thing out of the UI library. And I was just hoping to show you some of the features of it, so that we could reach an understanding a bit, because some of the things are different to what we want, but I think that's okay. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
hope. So, without further ado, this is 01, 04, sorry, 04 Mini on high. Say good day, mate. Can you see that clear enough?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so we've got reasoning, we've got the reasoning display,
Mm-hmm.
we've got the token count,
Mm-hmm.
we've got tokens per second and time to first token,
Mm-hmm.
we've got alternatively credits, so you can set a price for what the tokens are worth and how much credits were burned for it,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of useful. We can edit what it said. It's like, I didn't say that.
Why would you do that?
I didn't say that. So you got that. Copy, obviously. It's got topics down the side where it tries to sort of split the chat into topics, which is an additional feature. So really what I wanted to talk to you about was that these guys are actually trying to enhance the chat experience with additional functionality like topic detection and all that. And we've spoken about that, but I guess what I'm getting at is like we should just launch with their features, their delicacies, and their sort of paint around the model,
Mm-hmm.
because actually what we want to get to is consensus, data sovereignty, and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but primarily agents running ambient attribution, and then sort of come back around and add in whatever UI features people want, because now we can process requests and all that. But it's starting to feel like the actual chat base is going to be hard to add to because it's hard to make it wildly configurable like you can do with jitters or naps. So
Mm-hmm.
that base sort of chassis sort of needs to stick around. So I don't know how much it cooks what you're thinking the future is or changes it, but it might be that one of the downsides of choosing this massive uplift in UI right from the start is that we can't easily add extra bits in.
Does it have the basic? I mean, does it have a state board, for example? The big
Yes.
one.
Show me some JS6 code in an artifact. I'm annoyed about the word artifact. I chose to use the word artifact before everyone else started making it a thing. And now it's a thing, and now I look like an idiot because I'm like, it's an artifact. And they're like, oh, yeah, everyone calls it that. But back in the day, that's not what happened. All right, so I will get rid of the topics window. Let O4 Mini grind away. Probably hide this thing too. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same, right? And so,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, you were saying.
Then, in terms of putting frames in there, are we losing frames if we use this?
No, I'll put the frame. I'll just I'll gut this piece and make this do what it does already for them, but I'll also make it do frames. I will expand this notion where you have like one. So if I say like, okay, now another one showing TLA plus code. So at the moment it's like one thing, one board, but I'll expand that to be a little bit more finessed with the transcludes. So it's like you can click a transclude and see all the transcludes, but I might give you some extra information in there, whatever. I think for now, if I just make it, this is the transclude, you click it, and then it shows in the state board, it shows the what was in the transclude. I think that's probably the best shortcut. So basically, frames will load here, and then I'll doctor up this panel to be a little bit more permanent, so it doesn't just keep disappearing all the time like it's intended to stay there. So here, like here, I can jump between the two things, the two stateboard states. So I think we can do everything we've spoken about with the stateboard. Worst case, I need to modify this UI element here to be like a few more lines or have a bit of extra stuff. But in general, I don't think it matters. Like, I think that we can achieve everything we've spoken about.
Okay, cool. And where's in terms of this database, where does it store its files?
That's the interesting part. You can pick two options. It can store a SQL compatible database in the actual browser itself, or it can store it on a SQL compatible database on a server that you host. So what I'm hoping is that because this is why another reason I like this project, because they've already made their backends switchable. I hope that I can insert artifact in there as a, like, once you've made something able to do two things, making it do the third thing is relatively trivial. When you've only, that's the issue with LibreChat. It only uses one backend. And so to switch into a second one is like, oh my God, like that's not natural, but they already switch. And I know from experience that running an entirely in-browser database versus like a not in-browser database, like those are two things that are different enough that I'm guessing there's some really nice interface design that's gone in for the programming bits to fit together. And so my hope or my plan is that we can connect up artifact to be the storage layer of the system and the execution layer, and then just build up little widgets that show artifact based functions, like the process display could be a frame. Maybe not everything we want to expose with artifact needs to actually be shown in the chat UI, and it can really be expressed as frames, maybe. Um, but that was sort of my goal. Like, I love this this interface and this design, and I am very confident that I can make artifact be its backend.
Okay. All
Does that
right.
answer your question?
It does. So
What were you concerned about?
no. I'm just
Uh,
probing. So,
yeah,
so the arguments we were going through yesterday still stand in that do we piggyback on the back of was Libre Chat,
yeah,
Lobe Chat? Yeah,
yeah,
doesn't actually make that much difference in terms of the fundamental. Do we build it ourselves?
right.
Those arguments still stand. So
I
it really
think,
comes
yeah,
down
man.
to which
It's
is the best way, which is
it's.
the best one out there.
I think this one is. I haven't found any others. You're welcome to go take a look around. It
Mm-hmm.
does, like, text to speech is cool.
Creating a standalone TLA plus specification is a perfect use for an artifact. It's self-contained, reusable, and substantial. I'll create a new artifact named Simple TLA Counter Spec. Extends naturals. Variable counter.
Stop this. There we go.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So they got
What was that
features.
reading there?
It was just. I think it started reading the thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh.
Right.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, like they've got a lot of nice things, and like I can see there's been love in this interface, and there's also been a lot of modularization. They got like voice inputs ready, things you'd like limit the history count, the settings for the model, it's all there. Knowledge base files, whatever. So I have to gut a little bit of this, but like, turning off a button versus building a back end is like, oh my god.
Hide it.
Yeah. So I just walk
Or
you
you can
through.
co-opt it as well.
Yeah. So other issues like settings. Settings is not to do with a frame anymore. Like, we need to use their settings because it's so many things that you can set. So I can still make it accessible in a repo because the data store can still be a repo, which is kind of what I'm thinking. The Git thing is special in that. I apologize in advance for how unclear what I'm trying to point at is, as I've been browsing today using Grok and other tools to assess different libraries that do this chat UI, the majority of the issues are to do with the backend and the complexity of the backend, the data storage, all these kinds of concerns that sort of Artifact sets out to solve in a way. And so I think it is actually a much more liberating experience to be able to show that your whole app is actually just a Git repo, as opposed to like, oh my god, it's a database. Because a database is scary because it's this binary file.
Yeah, I mean, a Git repo great because you can always just prod it yourself.
And you can roll back in history as well. And so we can put, what I'm going to do is put all the settings is just going to go stomp straight into Git. And so you'll be able to browse using the file browser to browse your own settings in data form. So you basically have context or LLM accessible access to yourself, to your own self instance. So I think that that's quite subtle, but also like very hard to do unless you set out to do that at the start. And it avoids the issue of like, where is my database? Did I get it all? what was the state of my database 3 years ago?
And people are frightened of databases, right? They're not frightened of 1,000 folders. I mean, I'm talking about a
Nah,
general user.
nah, and because the database is not, it's opaque, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But a Git repo, you're like, oh, I understand that. I just cut off all the history. I only want this version, or
Yeah, and the rollback is just awesome because,
it's beautiful.
um, yeah, if you ask just a standard user to prod around a database, they're freaked out.
Yeah.
When they submit, it's like,
Yeah. But in Git, because we can actually peg it to these blockchains, like the future of creativity for humanity is in cooperation with AIs, which means that how you're going to prove that you thought of something first, did something first, or what is the state of your system? And so having a database and pegging it to the blockchain is difficult. But having Git and pegging it to the blockchain, you're like, what's the hash? What's the latest commit? Oh, yeah, okay, cool, in, done. And then, so I think that there's some subtle nuance here that I hope it falls in our favor. But I guess what I'm getting at is that I and we need to be welcoming of their sort of non-pluggable nature, non-data sovereign nature. Like, these guys have tried to be data sovereign by allowing you to store your data only in your browser, but that's still, it's, that's not the full deal, right? So
have you asked Grok the same question? You asked LibreChat about LibChat.
No, I didn't. I honestly thought I did, but I didn't. Sorry. Let me do that. There was this new agent operator thing that they put out. It's like it's a new agent, and they're making a huge song and dance about it, and it's the first one they activated the safeties on biological threats being high, because it fires up a computer and it can work on spreadsheets and work on PowerPoints and sort of write code. So it's sort of like Codex plus a desktop plus a browser. So yeah, I haven't really got into it too much, but yeah. This was the research that I did to find these other places.
You're in chat now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it just this thing blew my mind. Like.
Well, if we take that, the premise is still sound, which is there are enough people out there massing together in order to do LibreChat style things.
Yeah.
Effectively open source version of what chat has already done. And it's a good thing for us to do it. Then it's just the selection of them.
Yeah.
You're already saying this is the best one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at all the effort they've gone to. Like, they just got each model, its price. It's like, wow, man, thank you, guys.
I think it'd be sensible to ask Grok exactly the same question and see what it comes back with.
Limited multilingual support. That's not true. Absence of mobile apps. Yeah, so one of the other ones I found actually had built-in desktop apps and built-in mobile apps, but I don't think we need that to launch. We need modularity. We need extensibility first before we need platform rollout. Missing plugins and tools in open source version. That sort of suits us. We actually don't want to use their tools. We want to use ours. Advanced functionality, no built-in code execution. Great, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
What the hell is chat dev? What the hell? I've learned about so many projects today. Limited backend.
All right, so it's all llama or nothing. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, lag and handling.
Yeah.
Minor page crashes from responses.
I just feel like I would have these I do have these problems anyway, and I'm like, at least someone else.
Failing to recognize images. Fine. Configuration errors. Import. Yeah. Fine. These
Deployment
just look
difficulties.
Like, Grok's just gone into issues here, hasn't it?
Yeah.
API and model integration challenges. Okay. Deployment problems on platforms like Docker. Code quality, maintenance, and tech debt and backlog. That's probably a bunch of guys just whining about tech debt, security and testing gaps. Well, they're not claiming to be secure, are they?
No, and I feel like they're it's weird, these tools, because they end up with two different user bases. There's devs trying to extend it, and then there's people trying to use it as their chat GPT replacement. And so those are two groups with different problems. Like, I'm not afraid of the back-end issues or dissatisfaction. I'm looking for something very, very unique, which is modularity. And, you know, like, the UI looked... I mean, I thought it looked beautiful. I was like, that is just outstanding.
It's pretty much, you know, good enough to be put out in public, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's like, yeah, data storage. I think you can import your ChatGPT stuff, maybe. So, look, oh yeah, AI painting. So it connects up to image generators and stuff as well. So, but here's an idea. Here's a way to think about what's different in their UI layout to ours, right? Like, they've gone and just added AI painting here. They might add things like agentic browsing here. You know, like, they have this section where they can add different ways or different modes to interact with the AI.
Yeah.
And then, like, files, I mean, that might be... I might just make this the frame, because there's no reason why a frame can't be just... I just replace the settings part, and then I give in there's repos, branches, and files as one, like, kathump, one thing. That can still be a frame. It might even be a UI element directly. I mean, I don't really care. I might have overdone it by making everything a frame, because there are some core things that you always want, like file browsing. So,
well, it sounds like, again, what we were talking about yesterday was LibreChat was just the thing we were talking about, but the idea about taking the UI weight off the main line to get that done faster, and then these guys 3 times the size. That sounds good. I was impressed by LibreChat being so healthy.
I know, right? Yeah, I know, but
healthy.
Yeah, LibreChat the guy was like, yeah, I started this project as a hackathon thing, and this is where we got to. And he was also like, you know, be patient with me because of, you know, I still got my full-time job and all that. And I was like, oh, I don't really want it. I want something professional.
Well, who's playing these?
Well, these guys have plans, so they sell plans where you can sort of just be part of their cloud offering.
Mm-hmm.
And they also say that if you derive from this interface, you need a commercial license from them. So they are commercially minded. That's great. I am thoroughly impressed with the work they've done anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And if they come back and saying we want 1 kidney a month, then extracting ourselves?
yeah, extracting ourselves, whatever. Like, I think that if we can get to the point where we've got the innovation section.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an adaptability function. We've got discovery and reuse and porting and all that, and we've got our agents. We should be able to start plugging away at making our own stuff. Like the best way things could ever go for us is that we would go to them and we'd be like, look, we got this ambient attribution agent and it says you're worth X. Here's how we worked it out. Now, do you want to accept that as the license payment?
Yeah.
Right?
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
It's not a problem that they want paid for their stuff.
No. And there's a faint hope because of the fact that they are trying to be data sovereign by letting you run on your browser. There's a faint hope that they might be excited by a blockchain-based back end for them, and they're like, "Oh, that's fucking epic. Let's do something, maybe."
And is it? And of course, you can always install it on prem, but then you got licensing, which is fine. It's the previous configuration.
Yeah. So they also, Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Same argument stands from yesterday.
Still stands, eh?
Just different target.
Still stands. So they also had.
They use a lot of emojis.
They're all about the emojis, man. They're all about the emojis.
See youth today just.
Wow, I like emojis.
Don't even know ASCII art. But yeah, it's got to be a little wavy emoji animation. But it's not like when I was on RD. But yeah. Put your head to one side to see whether it was winking or smiling or.
Yeah, I know, you're right. But yeah, look, they've even got like nice little features, like you can make the input box be massive, and then that's your multi-line prompt entry.
And in terms of models, I'm assuming that do you clank in your own API or do you go through them?
There's options, so they give you one. I hooked up OpenAI directly.
Mm-hmm.
You can add in others as well.
Grok.
Yep.
I can see Grok there.
It's just I just didn't configure it. That's all. So I can do that.
Right.
If I go into the settings and I go AI service providers. XAI,
Okay.
and I go API key, model list Grok 4. So they're already up with the play. These guys are, I love them.
And then when you, if they have an interesting output, do you download it? Do you send to the SQL database?
Sorry?
If you if it does something interesting, you go, all right, I want to save that.
Oh, right now it's just saved in your chats in the database, either in the browser or in their database that they run for you, depending on what you want. That doesn't feel like your question, though.
Yes, it is. So everything that's done is not extractable without cut and paste at the moment.
Sorry? You mean you want to use the chat as context?
Yeah.
Buddy, now you're talking. Because you can't fucking do that unless you can come back around using the files tool and browse into your chat and treat your chat like a file.
Yeah.
Right? So that's actually a really good point you raised there, that by virtue of the way that we're storing the data, first of all, you can manually bring it in using files, so you can bring your chat in as a file, but it will be easy for me to make an extra tool that can do the transclusion and pull the chat in.
Yeah.
So I may have to, I'll figure it out somehow, like, because I may not want to, like, put it in this drop down and be like, add as or transclude, like I might add an extra menu item or whatever. We'll dig around with that.
Yeah.
But so long as the thank you, you relieved me. The you can't easily do that unless the chat is a file.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's actually a nightmare to do if it's a database. You're like, oh wait, what?
We're back to cutting and pasting. Nightmare territory. Which you could do, but then you'd have to loop back round.
Right.
File,
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, thank you. Additionally, what I realized from my research today is that LibreChat was using MongoDB, and it struck me that actually we can present Artifact as though it was MongoDB, like it's just storing JSON. But so first of all, with a bit of work, we could present as MongoDB. Okay, whoop-de-doo. But what's more important is that the app that's designed to use Mongo will be efficiently designed so that storing an artifact is not inefficient either. Like, a row in MongoDB is just a file in a folder for artifact.
Yeah.
And would use the sharding of the files there so the speed kept good and all that. And so it was really just a realization that we're probably more compatible with traditional apps than I had originally imagined. And that it may be that we can inherit a lot of knowledge, utility, familiarity with a simple adapter. Like here's a drop-in adapter for MongoDB, and you're now on Artifact running your app as a blockchain app with near zero loss, just so long as you check the performance and all that, and you weren't doing weird queries that are against the grain for a blockchain.
Yeah, that's great. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it means that we should be able to hook this up and then also say, look, if we wrap this in an Electron app on a desktop, for example, we can have the equivalent of our server-side code running on the desktop and this UI just pointing at it as though it was its server, and now you're offline and you're running on like a Strix Halo or something like that in the desert, and you got all your stuff and you can move it around on a USB stick where you bring in the latest commits, the latest innovations, the latest solutions, the upgrades, all that. Yeah. So that's I think the end of the flurry that I've been in, where it's like, holy shit, what are we doing? But this is the one that I have landed on. I like this one a lot.
Right. Well, let's see.
Let's see, eh?
Where's it put us in the kind of priority list or timeline?
I would guess that I think I can get with one more solid day, I think I can get a chat hooked up. And then maybe another half day to get a state board hooked up. Your requirement was chat first, transcludes next, where you can select files as though they were from a Git repo.
Yep.
And then file system tooling, so you can write to files and all that. And then innovations where there's like issues and problems and whatever
Yep.
that shows
Like
up.
real basic kind of almost notebook style innovations to start with.
Yeah, like GitHub issues almost.
Yep.
And then agents.
Yep.
Okay. So timing, I'd say that sounds like one of the issues I still have is that the transclude format, I haven't actually done it, but I think it's straightforward. The transclude format is the same for agents as well. Agents are just the same data structure as a human, so that's all good. Multi-chats, like group chats, it's all the same. I think I can get this thing hooked up within a day or two, with the or two being with some frames as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll certainly know if it's a bust within that time too. So probably by Monday I'll be like, yeah, no, it's good, or
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. Good. That's an
And
important
then
point.
the rest of those pieces, look, at a guess, I'd say it's like a week. Like it's not. I I don't know how to say how long things are, because the things that take my time are unexpected things. The things
Yeah.
that would typically take me a long time are now done by AI. And so I'm kind of lost, man, and I hate it. But um, adding in those extra things, when this thing's sort of laid out this thing's laid out a lot of that framework, like how do files get inserted. So I just override the transcludes. I use our transclusion methods instead of their file insertion methods. It's it seems very very, very close, because we're like we put this up, and then we're like, there, it's like a working, more or less fully featured thing. And like probably a lot of the buttons and stuff won't work on day one, because I'll just turn on like Grok plus OpenAI plus files, and then all the rest can just sit there broken for a bit, and then I'll just liven up the buttons on the interface as we see fit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I think this is the right approach. Basically,
Okay.
there's a whole ton of stuff that's been taken off your plate because other people are doing it. Turns out, quite a few
Yeah.
people are doing it.
And doing it well, like doing it way better than I could, and they'll keep doing it as well. And so it feels like a bit of extra work up front, but if we can place our bet right and then write it, so good. Like that's a professional level, product level UI that, it's good to
Yeah.
go.
Anything else? Where did they put system prompts?
Yeah, that's a good point. I was just trying to find that actually, because I had found it, and then I lost it. There's
Oh,
like,
but it's somewhere there.
yeah,
I'm assuming system prompts is per chat.
you can set it per at a higher level than that.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, where the fuck is it? Is that thing? Oh yeah, assistant. Sorry, loads of settings for the assistant. System prompt.
So that's the universal system prompt.
No, that's just for that assistant. So you can save it as a profile. So it's, I guess
Okay.
it's sort of like saving a nap, but they call it an assistant.
Uh-huh.
So that's the role, and then there was like they had this really nice shit like opening questions,
Oh, that's nice.
like extra things you can add.
Uh-huh.
Would you like to go if you're, and then you can add other ones. Would you
Oh, these are the
like
prompt
the
prompts.
well the opening
Yeah, it's like just
things,
a
you know?
button as your first prompt. It's like
Yeah, and then you
researchers
can order them
prompt.
around. Like it's really nice. I'm like, this is you guys
quite
did a
nice.
great job.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like it's just it goes on, and like you'll love this, like the automatic chat naming thing. Plus, I think they had a button to like regenerate the chat name. So you're like, I want to choose a new name, and then it just keeps
Oh, that's quite good. Well, it just takes in all the thread and
it just renames it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it renames it.
That's nice. Yeah,
It's
because
really good, dude.
that's one of my pet peeves with chat at the moment is it chooses its name from the first few things you've said. And
Yeah, which can change, right?
yeah, well, it can be wildly different.
Yeah, I know. So, see, look, these are the things here,
Yeah, there you go. Would you
right?
like to go? And then
Think hard, buddy. I'm thinking. Yeah. So, like, it's just a
I feel
lot of
sorry for it now. Yeah. Okay. This is really good.
yeah.
Sorry, I was probing there. I might have sounded unenthusiastic, but
No, you don't. You don't. I hate making these presentations to you because I'm like nervous because it's like something, and there's a delay. Like it's never like, hey, I found this thing that's going to save us loads of time. It's always like, I found this thing that's going to give us more features for more time. Is it a good purchase?
yeah,
Like it's stupid.
Well, welcome to our life.
Yeah, but this feels like done, right? Like we can get this up, running, hooked up to billing because they've already. Why I love these guys is they've already got plans that they sell, so we can just intercept the whole.
That's an interesting one.
We can intercept all the stuff that they do.
That was a gnarly one sitting in your future as well. So
Yeah.
if they've done it, then I mean, I assume their payment gateways are available.
It's really just the UI and some system hooks, and then calling out to Stripe. So their payment gateways are theirs, not ours. But, yeah, I mean,
sure, but are they exposing that in the code base so you could?
yeah, everything here is in the code base. So.
Right. Yeah. So we wouldn't go through their payment gateways, but it means that there is a payment gateway.
Yeah, I haven't checked. I know that the UI elements will be there, but I haven't checked if the actual back-end payment gateway stuff is there. They might have stripped it out because they're like, well, what are you doing? But either way, it's still the fact that by design it's there to bill people. That's great because we need that. Usage tracking, that's pretty.
Oh, where's it going for usage tracking?
Well, I think it's storing it in your browser, and then they say that they use
compute, not tokens. Oh
no,
no,
tokens.
it does have models. It's got a model there.
Yeah. So I used this many free credits and all that. So
can you click on that model? Is that clickable?
Where?
Creation time type model. No, it's not.
That's just that'll just be how much I have used.
Yeah, but you've used some there.
Yeah, I know it's not showing, eh?
Yeah.
So not sure about that. But like it has, it shows the free credits. Maybe I gotta get past the free credit amount before it shows up as usage.
Possibly, or maybe it's just tokens that because you don't have to put an API, you can go through their API gateway.
Yeah, I've put in an API key, so I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
But they say that they use CRDTs, which are conflict replicatable data types or something like that. Basically, if you use these data structures in your app, then you can always merge without conflict. And so
I've never heard of that before. Okay, that's
yeah, they're cool. They're cool. They're limited, but they're cool. And so they reckon that they use that CRDT format in their database so that if you choose not to use their cloud database, your browsers can merge the history via their sort of routing through their servers, but the data is stored on your browser instances if you have several, and the CRDT makes sure that it doesn't conflict.
That sounds really powerful.
Yeah.
So by storing it in the browser, is it the browser session?
Yeah, well, the local storage. So you're storing the chat data and stuff like that in the storage allocation of the browser, which is good because it doesn't cost you any cloud storage, but it's bad because if your browser dies or dumps your storage or any other thing happens, then the user's left being like, where's my chats, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, much of a muchness. I mean,
you can go to the cloud, which is more permanent. It's not
and we're sort of stuck with our cloud until we can have the time to work out alternate hosting solutions. But we just got to get our interface up, our intelligence up, our data storage up, and then start using that to marshal funds around the place to build out these extra features that we want in the order that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm stoked. Like, this is going to be an app that I would be proud of. I feel like sort of a thief, or I think a cuckoo, because the cuckoo doesn't actually make its own nest. It goes around inserting its eggs and other...
it's an open source thing, isn't it? You're building on.
Building on? Building with. I took the whole damn thing, But anyway, we're not the front end. We're the data structure. Because it turns out that that's quite nuanced.
And we're the knowledge architecture and the process flow and all that kind of good stuff.
And then
I don't want to demean these guys, but it's like the hard stuff.
Yeah, but look, they've even got stats. How many messages to this model or that model? What were my topics that I talked about?
You talked a lot about cats.
Meow is my default starter word. So what am I? Sorry, I mean, what am I supposed to? Everyone's got a starter word.
You don't even like cats, do you? I don't think you like cats.
I'm allergic to them.
Exactly.
I suffer medically. Well, because of that cat game that Super Troopers played, which I thought was...
Cat game?
Yeah. Well, have you seen Super Troopers?
No.
Dude.
Yeah.
I think that...
For me, is a Second World War searchlight.
Nah. Super Troopers is about a bunch of cops that go around harassing the public in a playful way. And one of the games they play is called Cat Game, where they see who can say the word... When they're giving someone a ticket, they've pulled them over. They try and see who can say the word meow the most in the thing without the person... Yeah, so they're like, meow. Let's see.
I've done that. I've done something similar. When oh god, this was years ago in board meetings, which I think are very well named.
You should always try and say meow.
Yep.
And then people are like, did he just say meow?
Well, and I had a mate, not name, but I had a mate who was also on the board, and we were having this game where we were counting up the number of times we could say pineapple.
Right. Yeah, so things like that.
Which you can, slip in now. I find that quite funny there. Sorry, I had an outbreak of morale there on the Super Trooper. That's quite funny.
Meow.
That's quite funny.
Right. I got two other topics to cover if you have the time.
I do.
I need to get over this. This is actually making my day because it feels like we'll have a product and a platform.
Finding a decent, uplift like this is a bit like buying a new pair of shoes. You don't want to be staring at your shoes all the time going, nice shoes.
Well,
You ever see it? Get a nice new pair of trainers. You spend the day looking down at your feet.
I've only ever seen you wear the same shoes anyway.
Hey, 2028 is the next time.
The next stock up time when you go into the village and trade for your next set of sticks.
Yep.
So two things I got.
Getting fat. Yeah.
I got an intelligence platform request from a business owner who is very related to me, but I won't say who. And the other thing, sorry, I've taken a lot of drugs today because of this migraine. Business intelligence. Oh, God, dude. Oh, yeah, that's right. The crypto legislation in the United States.
Yes.
So I'll start with the bills.
Yep. Go for it.
Okay, so what seems to be cool, it was saying there's been like $130 million worth of lobbying spent by the crypto industry to try and get these bills through.
130 million. Like,
yeah.
Those guys have got billions.
Not anymore. So this one, like, it's starting to look like the bar's being lowered for not being a security, or it's not lowered, but it's they're giving it a bright line test, which in a lot of legislation is like a bright line test is something that is like clearly you are a security or you aren't.
So they're taking away the fuzzy edges of it.
The fuzziness, yeah. And so they're also saying, well, this is how what decentralized means, or how we're going to measure that the thing was decentralized.
Okay.
And it sounds pretty simple, and it sounds like we can do decentralized income under these frameworks.
Can we do escrow where there's not an active participation?
That one I'm not sure about, because I'm not sure about that one. But escrow, if it was decentralized, so if the income was going to be as a result of an AI agent that was run by a decentralized thing, where decentralized in this situation is not like the Ethereum scale where you got thousands of different servers running. It's like, well, decentralized is a much smaller thing now, and you can have a decentralized AI that made the business decisions. And so now this dream of ours to have decentralized income feels palpable. Like I can almost taste it with these acts. So if we can get these agents up,
what are the main changes? Because it was a bit of a hoop to jump through. What's the delta? I can look at this myself as well, but
I mean, this is the 2019 rules, which is still kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
Here we go. 20% of the token supply or validated voting power from the bill.
Okay.
You know, like it passed on July the 17th, and it sets numbers, hard numbers, like 20% of the validated voting power. That's really helpful, right? It's like this number, but that's what they mean by bright line. It's like there's no this thing. It's like decentralization is decided via a bright line test for mature blockchain systems. We're passing that shifts the regulation to the CFTC. So you move from being a security to being a commodity.
Oh.
Which is magic, really. Because it was all securities before, and you're like, fuck, like, I don't
but
even want to be.
With securities, because securities were for another age.
Another age, right? Like the 1930s. And then it was like...
Good. That's pretty forward-looking.
Right? And so it's gonna be wild, dude. Like, it's gonna be so wild. What else was there? Network independence. So if we can make distributed consensus mechanisms, I think that given how we've got this Git model, adding a consensus is going to be pretty light on top of it.
Yeah.
And so we can have like multiple operators. It doesn't matter that they're cloud operators, or I guess you could run our system on a local server. That's fine. Yeah. But the key realization for me in the last couple of weeks was that the key to resiliency is actually to not try and make fancy components like an S3 bucket, but instead to rely on just the simple hardware that you have at your disposal and then multiply it. So what that means is that when you take a system and then run it in the Kenyan desert, if you didn't do that, you'd have to now emulate the S3 bucket. And so now your reliability calculations are based on the server that's producing the final output plus whatever hodgepodge of things you've put together to emulate the S3 bucket and its guarantees, which is now overly complicated, and you're back in the realm that we've been trying to get away from by using blockchain, which is that the complexity level is its own unreliability metric. Like, past a certain threshold, events are so rare that you can't meaningfully calculate them, but you know that in a complex system, it's more likely that it will fault rather than a non-complex one.
Right. And where is it? Just saw it there. Decentralized governance seems to be, and this is example, e.g. rule-based systems. So that's not a complete list.
Right.
So having an AI in control.
Perfect.
Slots right in, doesn't it?
Perfect. So if we're like, well, the income was decided by this AI that's run in a way that is not controllable by any entity. It's run based on consensus. So what they've really given us here is this ability to say how much consensus is decentralized, whereas before it was kind of they picked and chose when it suits them to be like, yep, decentralized or not decentralized. Like you look at Bitcoin and you're like, yeah, decentralized. And then you look at Ethereum and they're like, well, mostly decentralized, but now you've got this, when you shifted to staking, now everyone's staking with like one major provider, and so that's not decentralized, and so they could choose. But here they're giving us this guidance of how much is enough decentralization, and we can absolutely run an AI as a smart contract and have decentralized AI controlled projects. And so the income, like, this is going to be so fucking wild, because now you can open up to the public and be like, here's this venture, here's this AI, we're going to go do this thing, put your money here and we'll make you a profit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just throwing there under decentralized governance system definition. So long as there's no centralized putting your finger on the scale,
Yeah.
then you're good.
Yeah.
Which is easy to show.
Yeah. And same with,
really
look at this one. Look at this one. This is wild. Exclusions for DeFi.
Huh.
So, like, you can be not a commodity, but if you're engaging in certain types of DeFi, you're not a security either.
Wow, this opens up quite a lot.
It opens up kind of everything. And so...
ETH is going up through the roof right now.
Yeah. So, the grapevine told me that in Binance, CZ is trying to dump all of the stuff in the exchange, and he's going around building DeFi products and services and stuff, and trying to shift Binance to just be the on and off ramp. So that, because they keep getting in trouble for the products they offered inside the exchange, like commodities trading and tokens and all that. But now they want to just be like money in, money out, and all the other stuff happens in DeFi. And now I don't know if he somehow knew this ahead of time, but if DeFi is excluded, then now you get better treatment than a centralized exchange if you're doing those types of operations. So
yeah.
This is like the coolest thing to happen in crypto ever. This is crypto coming of age.
It's like a holistic evaluation. Regulators assess via rulemakings, considering factors like transaction volume, no distribution, resistance to censorship, in the absence of insider trading risks until maturity is certified. What does it mean by mature blockchain system?
Yeah, well, you got to file, issuers must file reports demonstrating maturity.
What
So,
does maturity mean?
Where I'm not exactly sure, but I think there will be something in the act that helps us understand what maturity means. I think it's not going to be... It is not that hard to make a reliable blockchain piece of software. You can pull off the shelf bits and you can make one right now. But when one of the hurdles to overcome was user base or adoption, that's what made it really hard, because you get this stupid situation where it's a security and it's illegal at the start while the numbers are small. But if the numbers get big, then it's not a security. So how are you supposed to start?
So really, to follow this down, what they seem to be doing is saying, so long as there isn't a concentration of decision making, then you're cool.
If so long as you can't rug pull,
and if the concentration is too high, then the poor buggers coming in at the bottom, you're gonna get shafted.
Yeah, and now you're sort of, I think that keeps you safe, because you've got things like RICO, which is like cartels and criminal endeavors, so that if you were at arm's length, but you colluded with a bunch of other voting powers to do something bad, you'd be in more trouble because of the fact that you did it as a group rather than because you did it individually. Like, that seems to be the law crushes organized crime because it's so hard to catch. And it's so hard to get out from under and to detect.
Yeah.
And so,
Pretty sensible. Well, it's pretty sensible. Pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's crazy. And that means that in the United States, we should be able to start blockchains and Dreamcatcher style projects there and solicit public money without being like scared of the states or having to have that disclaimer that, sorry, this token sale is not open to anyone in the United States. It's basically like it's no longer open to anyone else but the United States. Like,
yeah.
And you sit there and you have your decentralization and you you can make these projects that are also decentralization because they're sitting on top of your substrate. You can do the filings with the big dogs to be like, that's decentralized, and everyone's able to leverage off that so that you can turn up with the wildest, stupidest ideas, and the AI will make sure that there's no rug pulling and there's a certain level of, intelligence.
It's interesting. It's the AI governance just fits hand in glove with this.
It mounts perfectly. It's like a diamond and the cradle in the ring that holds it. It's like, they don't say AI here, but
I haven't thought about it.
They probably would have thought about it, but that's basically the future, is AIs running on blockchains that have enough decentralization that the authorities are like, yep, that's cool. And then you can get funding for any old thing because the AI is going to make sure that you're not doing stupid shit, and it's decentralized, so you can't be accused of, you couldn't rug pull if you wanted to. So that's a big deal. That's a huge deal for us and for everyone, for crypto in general. But no one's going to buy into these token schemes like what we've seen in yesteryear. Like, they need something wholesome, something that can sink their teeth into, and I think we've got it. And I think that we were trying to always find a legal structure by which we could have like the 1,000 flowers bloom in terms of escrowed NFTs, and I was like, oh man, none of this it's not clear that it's okay. It's all these complications, let's go to Kenya, let's go to some other place. But then with this, it feels like that micro project with public funding is 100% feasible. Like, it's 100% go with no SEC problems.
Yeah.
So we should be able to build our whole platform out using just NFTs that get funded and managed by AIs to build the pieces of our platform that we want, as well as anything else that anyone's crazy enough to put money into. And our platform will be the one that you come to just like, I've got a crazy idea and I got $10. Ding, here's your project. The AI start gossiping, start talking. People watching it go, actually, that's a good idea. Money comes in, money comes here. Workers come in. Oh, I can do that. Escrow goes out. Like, that's the dream catcher.
Yeah, precisely.
With near zero overhead for setting up a new company each time, because it's just NFTs on decentralized chains. Whoop-de-doo.
Just in the nick of time.
I know. Justin and Nick, like, where were we going to go? We were going to go to Africa. And we still should, but...
But we don't need to, because, we can still go to Africa, because it doesn't matter where you say where your jurisdiction is.
Right. But we can turn up and go blockchain, tokens, AI, ambient attribution, and not have to run away from anyone.
Yeah. Brilliant.
They just helped us make the Dreamcatcher. Without this, the Dreamcatcher may have always been shady.
Well, how many hours have we spent talking about security?
Oh my... If I could have that time back. Right? If I could have that time back.
Yeah. This is great. This is great. I'm going to do a bit of a dive into this and have a look.
Yeah, dude. Find us a home. Because it might be all we do is register a Delaware company. Doesn't even need to be a DAO. And then we're just like, ta-da, bitches. NFTs for real. And you just like... pay your...
It's probably going to be the route, isn't it? The Delaware company is the grounding event. We'll make sure the government...
Yeah, it has a bank account. It offers bank account services to all the mini projects. It's like...
Oh, it makes life so much easier.
Right? The service company, and it's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, we're a service company for these clearly decentralized projects that are governed by the Commodities Exchange.
Yeah, we're just a gateway.
Yeah. there's some DeFi in there. You can trade these tokens because they're decentralized, and now we've got a stock market running on chain. Like, oh my, like, I am out of excitement juice to really sort of spread it around the place. But yeah, like, wow.
Yeah.
AI house, Dreamcatcher house, the place where agents work. Like, that's a feasible thing now.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
That's made our life a lot easier.
Yeah, I think we don't fully grasp exactly how much, but it feels like we could just walk right into Delaware and launch the Dreamcatcher as intended, with no distortions, twists, or sleights of hands or anything.
Between the two of us, we always knew that we weren't trying to game the system.
No.
We're just trying to get it to be okay.
Yeah, but the line was so fuzzy that we walked in the gray area on it. Yeah. And that's what we were like, well, shit.
Yeah.
So this actually saved our bacon, this thing.
It did.
Well done. I think that was Republican.
And this is enacted. This is already enacted.
One of them's enacted. There are other ones still going through the House. They called this week Crypto Week because these other bills are coming in. So Clarity Act passed. And there was the Bitcoin Act, which basically says that the U.S. government is going to begin strategic accumulation of Bitcoin.
Oh, they're actually doing that. They foreshadowed that. They're going to hold it as a reserve.
Yeah. Because they're already one of the biggest holders.
Yeah.
And then there was this other one, which was a really interesting one, which was
Bitcoin's going to go up.
Well, yes and no. I mean, it's still, the United States is never going to just buy it all, like it's...
Oh, no. They're going to be buying on a regular basis.
But it says that they have an interest now in it, which is pretty cool. I mean, but the interesting one here was the anti-CBDC rule, which was basically saying that the United States government was prohibiting itself from ever making a central bank currency. And I'm not entirely sure why, but I think it was because, I don't know, actually. But that was a big deal for them. Yeah. And then, legitimizing stablecoins was pretty cool. So now that means that, so this crypto's environment that we've now found ourselves in, suddenly there's legitimate fiat sitting on chain that for sure is backed by the Federal Reserve, right? So mandating 1-to-1 reserves in U.S. currency and reserve disclosures. So regulating who can issue these coins. So basically, it's as good as money.
Cap is at 10 billion.
Yeah, because there was shit like, the Luna stable coin and all these other things, and they tanked, and everyone's like, oh no, where's my money? So that sucks. But cross-border stablecoin interop.
Oh.
Yeah. Right, so you'd buy it in America, and then you'd sell it in the EU, and it's legit the whole way through. That's next level. So basically, we've got a situation where we got all this legitimate money is suddenly now on chain. We got rules around the SEC being backed right off for projects that of all kinds, but including ours, especially ours, because we were trying to be honest actors in the decentralized game. And a clear sort of way for us to raise money and then deploy the money without being thumped by the SEC or fearing it, without being barred from having genuine bank accounts for these ventures because they're like, what the fuck, crypto? But we're like, nah, we're legit now. And then finally, we're able to trade the NFTs in a DeFi sense, basically being a goddamn stock market. Like, what's missing? Like, what else? What other features of the environment would we ask for to be more fertile or to be more explosive? I cannot think of a single thing I want.
No, and it's interesting that these rules actually were the ones we were trying to back into the previous.
We were always trying to dance around these rules by being just overly punitive on our users, overly strict, like restricting our growth, all these things. And now we're like, this was the environment we wanted.
Yeah.
It's like the meteor came, all the dinosaurs can't handle the environment, and we're like...
And we're the rodents left going, hey, where's everyone gone?
You're like, that's what we were waiting for, but we didn't know it. Can you seriously think of any other rules that you need for the Dreamcatcher to thrive?
No, it fits everything.
There's literally nothing else we need. And it landed all in one fat week.
Oh, that's a bit of a stroke of luck.
Luck? I would... Luck is different. This feels more closer to provenance.
Yeah. And
Providence,
it's interesting, actually, the voting. You just scroll past it, but there's one as well. Just a bit up. It's like 290 odd for 190 odd.
Right, it was like a majority. Everyone wanted it, right?
It's bipartisan.
All Republicans, every single Republican,
Yeah,
and 78 Democrats. Like, everyone wants this bill. Like, that's crazy. It's like the whole country is like, this is what we need. Like, blockchain-based stock markets, blockchain-based companies. Like, this just made blockchain the internet of companies, the internet of value exchange in the United States. Is like, that's it, because you couldn't have that without the SEC getting involved the way it was before, because it's all tokens and it's stock and it's like this and that. But now it's like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Real cash.
Nice.
Real stock markets and real equity, and now real equity exchange.
Yeah.
All with the blessing of law, which means now we can set up agents that interact with the law, go to court on behalf of a blockchain that hold a bank account.
Yeah, and audit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Oh, that's nice.
Anyway, next topic.
Mm-hmm.
You still good for time?
Getting
tired, eh?
Another 15 minutes.
15 minutes, all right.
Yeah.
So, I was having a chat to a very dear friend, and I was talking about, so she was having issues with, like, things like, oh, my company, what should I do? Like, every day I get ground down by all the day-to-day tasks, but then there's like these strategy choices that I have to make. And she started to get quite interested in the notion of, like, Grok 4, the smartest machine that's ever lived, being able to give advice or reasoning or options on what are strategic decision-making things that could be done, whereby it doesn't necessarily need to pick the right one, but to be able to calculate the implications or even ask for more information so it could calculate the implications.
And then also give options.
Yeah.
Which is a great one, because trying to figure out whether you covered everything.
Right. Given all the options, plus do things like browse the web. Look at today's news. Does any of that affect me? And it just avoids this feeling of needing to be aware of everything all the time because you don't know what's relevant to your business, and it's like quite exhausting or quite a burnout sort of a feeling.
Yeah.
But the machine would be grinding over that, And then each time you had an idea, it would go and calculate the implications, calculate the options, ask for more info that it might need. And then those little structures where we would go in and calculate ways to get like a revenue forecast for this product line based on some proxy information here and there, that becomes the new program in the world. And so like we can use that or resell that to other people, but that's the thing we make now, is these little strategies that sort of help little things, because maybe the AI couldn't figure out how to pull that together or what's the best way to work out company strategy. Like that's a program.
Mm-hmm.
That's a program that needs to be made. It's not obvious first time. It's not going to be flopped by the bot. It needs to be tweaked, tuned, refined. And so, yeah, that's what becomes resaleable. And it's that resaleability that is actually the three pillars of evolution are an adaptation function, a reward function, which we think the optimum one is ambient attribution, and interestingly, a hereditary function, which is to say a function that allows you to inherit or reuse things that have gone before. The adaptation and the selection or the reward is independent from this reuse. And so what I'm getting at is that tier 2 is the mechanism of reuse after the adaptation plus the fitness function have applied.
Mm-hmm.
And so tier 2, in the case of strategic thinking, becomes like, first of all, some apps and some tools to pull in data, which is sort of unique for each company, but that means you just get a unique set of tools where the tools are common, but the exact combination might be not.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also bolt on humans that have expertise in the area solving pseudo-anonymized puzzles based on your unique thing so that you don't leak any private data, but now your program or your strategy, your workflow, your agentic pipeline is now better, and now you're more intelligent. And this thing's just running over and over and over, telling you what's good, what you should do next, giving you options, giving you the costs. It's like your daily digest in the morning. It's like, well, there was a Boeing crash. That means the Boeing shares went down, which means that there's not going to be so much shipping coming out of Seattle, which means that your cost of shipping is going to go down. So if you just wait for 2 months, probably you get a bonus. You know, just impact assessment calculation. And
it's like a daily intelligence briefing.
Yeah, and it starts to feel like it's not quite awesome in terms of finding out. It's like working out the implications. You know, it's like
analysis. It's analysis. It's
well,
awesome includes analysis, but
yeah, it's what you do. That portion is what you do with the OSINT. It's like the decision support.
Yeah. But
right?
The analysis is all about decision support, and the OSINT, the first stage is gathering into buckets, and then triaging, putting weights next to it, drawing lines between chunks. But then the important part is the analysis. It's the so what. And it's like, well, okay, so we think this is possibly going to happen. It's like the White House do a good one, the daily intelligence briefing, which is you take everything that's happened everywhere over the world, and take the breadth of knowledge that they have available, and they give prioritized list of suggestions of things to be concerned about or opportunities to be had. But it doesn't tell you what to do about them. You're just saying you might want to, Boeing's just, I don't know, grounding their 737.
And so what she was saying was that that's the tool for her, because she's worried about like long time horizons, like 5 years, the next year, the next quarter, Christmas, the
Right.
Christmas shopping season, all that. But then she was like, well, I'd also want that on a more narrower scale for each one of my staff. We're sitting there with the staff, and it's like, the one thing you got to do today is this thing. Like, don't miss this. You know, here's a draft. You need to chase up this salesperson. Like, you need to chase up this buyer of stuff because, you know, that's what your job is. And that's like, it can look at the whole org and make sure everyone's coordinated, not dropping any balls. Everything's done ahead of time, ready for the next person who needs it. If each individual worker has a large number of tasks that they could do, it helps narrow that down in this sort of one grand strategic vision. So up the top, the captain, the pilot, the steerer is like that way, and then every day the bots are helping prioritize things based on what's coming down the chain. Because as you know, when you're trying to steer humans, they're sluggish. You can change direction on a dime, but then everyone else is still pointing it this other way, and they take such a long time to come around.
But also, someone else can change direction, and you don't know about it because.
That's right, and maybe they should have
operating
as
as
well, which is another angle as well, because it's like, well, if a human, if a staff member comes to you with a problem or suggestion, you're kind of quite dismissive often, I think, just because of how power structures work, and because maybe this person made mistakes in the past. That's just natural to think that someone who's made a lot of mistakes is probably not going to say anything worthwhile, but maybe it is worthwhile, right? Knowledge should be taken on, it's just because you don't have the patience, right? But the machine knows to check up on everything tirelessly. And so this one person suggests something, and it's like, you know what, that's actually a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
It's also diverse in its information. So it would know, for example, you had a meeting yesterday, and John over there was going to do something that's critical on your critical path. John called in sick this morning.
Right. The implications of that might not be entirely right, and then you know that, okay, when John comes back, he's got to catch up on that day, which means that you're actually delayed by 2 days now. And so that's going to make you miss your shipping window for this container getting on that boat before it leaves port. So now you're going to be 1 month behind.
Miss the ship, and the next ship, the container cost has just gone up by $2,000.
Yeah. All those kinds of intelligence things, right? And she's like, she wants the tool applied the whole way down, because that's where it applies, everywhere, and it helps steer everyone. Like, they can make decisions for themselves because they can talk to the intelligence that knows what everyone else is doing, including what the boss is trying to do, and says, well, without you bothering anyone else, here's your options, and this is why this is the best thing. And you can argue with it, sure, great, but a lot of the time you're like, all I wanted was just to be told what to do and have the confidence that it was in fact the best thing, the smartest thing, the most efficient thing, and nobody in the company is going to give me a hard time because I followed the instructions to a T.
You don't even need to be given the instructions. You can just be given the situations. It's situational awareness, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's deeper, and I'm just trying to grab at that. Like, it's situational awareness, but it's also a swarm or hive mind, because it coordinates you. First of all, it coordinates you because it can communicate, and is the intelligence is aware of what everyone else is doing. But second of all, even if you were in a hostile environment and you cut off the comms, you would still coordinate better because you're all following the same decision-making process.
Yes, just with maybe disparate intel. And so you'll drift over time, but you'll drift slowly.
Yeah, and you'll also, like, the intelligence will know that everyone else is drifting, and so it will be like, well, what's the probabilities of this, that, and the other thing? And the point is that you get a kind of decentralized coordination that is just not really possible unless your team is extremely tight-knit. and they kind of know what the other person's thinking and they're all committed to this goal, you could get that with like a B or a C grade team now because you have these bots.
It seems a bit like a newswire type service where, you get and it's personalized, so it pops up saying this thing has just changed, and it has implications to you. And I would propose you do this or that. And if you had just messages like that come through, then your situational awareness would be higher, but also you're not sitting around trying to interpret, because interpretation is the problem with loss of information. You could surface information.
So what I was explaining was that what you and I were trying to do is get that kind of capability for ourselves, because we were like, first of all, we got this complicated as hell, complex system that we struggle to explain. We need to make this tool so that it explains it to us, and then it prioritizes our tasks and says, well, that's the best thing, that's the next best thing, this will probably cost you this. It goes out and it rationalizes reasons about the whole world for us. It writes our press releases, it does our roadmap, it keeps our projects up to date, it does statistical analysis on when we're likely to deliver a feature, it does costings and market price, it does all that. And that's what we're trying to build, because we're like, each time we make a new tool in the decision intelligence tool, we get better from it, plus the tool itself is saleable, plus, like there's all these stacked exponential benefits that we get once we can get off the ground.
Yeah.
And so, Mr. Maxwell, the question, or the situation is that the crypto environment just got merged with the legitimate business environment in the biggest economy on the earth. And we know that there will be a lag between the integration work that now has to happen, because the traditional world has kept very separate from the crypto world with this abyss that was purposefully put there. Crossing the abyss will take time. I would guess maybe 1 to 2 years. In the meantime, it suddenly strikes me that it would be a prime opportunity to launch a public company that was set up to fund these now legitimized blockchain. Remember all the issues we had having a public company trying to do an ICO?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, is it a security? Are we an issuer? Do we need to register an issuer? We could now make a public company that was designed to fund and build these decentralized little ventures, and it could take in the huge influx of interest of money that has no home but can't yet touch the real blockchain-based stuff because it's still a little timid and the integration's not there. But we know for a fact that money can move very quickly into a public company. It's fully legit, it's fully safe and all that. And we know how the tiering works. Like once you get past this market cap, then now the institutional funds can come in, and then it's this one, and then all that. We know that we're like gonna be hot shit if we're like blockchain plus AI plus tier 2 plus equity tradable stuff plus like it's like plus we're like running
any more pluses. Yeah.
Running a public company using an intelligence decision system, which itself is for sale, would be like using a jet ski to cross a lake that I previously had to swim across. It would be
even listing with that being the intention would be enough, wouldn't it? So all these things are going to take time to build.
Right.
It's going to take capital to build, but listing with that intention would get the same kind of enthusiasm.
Yeah,
you're surfing at that point. You're going.
You are absolutely surfing. Yeah, and so the question becomes like, when can we have enough intelligence platform that we can make an intelligent decision about how to list and where to list given the current state of affairs. You know, like, do we list from scratch? Do we list using an RTO? Do we use some of our old friends? Do we do something new? Right? But whatever it is, like, this situation is going to be lit. And the faster we can get something up that is genuinely defendable, has its own internal intelligence, backed by a swish-looking platform like what I just showed you here.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's... Okay. It feels like that's our path, dude.
So, it doesn't feel that it's outside of us just to hang crank that decision-making process.
Yeah, that's true. Is it possible that the best path is to, first of all, like, register in Delaware, do some little projects with the new rules, knowing that they won't go like wildfire because the big money is not hooked up to the system yet? Use that as proof of concept to register in Canada, which we know how to do, and then that's the thing that we're putting out, basically the buckets to catch the rain. Because as soon as people catch on to that, okay, it's happening, this is time, then all the money goes into the public company because it still can't get into the blockchain world yet. That one takes the money and builds out the blockchain, which accelerates the adoption, and then it basically becomes a case of, well, they're both equivalent now. They both capture value.
It could well be.
Because launching without the proof of concept is, we're gonna lose a lot of equity on the way through. We're gonna lose a lot of gains. It's gonna be pitching. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But
yeah, we need to show something.
Yeah, if it works, and it sounds like we can get it working on small projects, no problem, then happy days, I suppose. Like, mad happy days.
I guess the thing to do is to stick to our principles and ask a bot that question.
Yeah.
Is that the right place? Is that the right way? What's the timing? Structure. And also, the rest of the world tends to follow the US on this sort of thing because
always
fear of missing out.
Always.
Maybe the EU is always a bit,
Well, the EU has gone oddly in a way that is like, they do protect users' privacy a lot, but they also overreach on how much the government can encroach on your privacy.
Yeah.
So those are two oddly opposed things. Dude, what would a defense startup look like that was ventured on the blockchain? What if we were a public company that was funding defense ventures on chain using a decentralized dark edge blockchain to set up elastic manufacturing hubs close to the front line or within invaded territory?
Given everything that's happening in Ukraine and the fact that I don't think the Ukrainian war is going to be finished before 2028, I give reasons for that, but I don't think it would take much at all. That could just be the sticky game. Nothing's going to get in our way. We don't even have to worry about defense contracts, particularly because at the moment there's more money swirling around in defense procurement than there ever has been.
Yeah. Right. But there's another thing that you've tapped into that's magic, which is that defense done by distributed innovation and then commercializing those innovations back into the regular market as products.
Yeah.
That's like new. Because normally it's like DARPA, 10 years go by, someone delivers, gradually 20 years later it turns up in the supermarket.
1 unit for 60 million, yeah.
Yeah. But this other way, the fact that there's a commercialization path that needs to happen from the frontline innovation back to the civilian markets, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see there being any major problem with just stating your defense company.
If you could prove that you were, yeah. Maybe we need several companies where one's like defense, and based on our market sampling, we'll be like, well, people who invest in defense don't want to also invest in this other thing, and so we can split them out, and we're like, that's defense using the Dreamcatcher, and this is just consumer apps or blockchain or decentralization on the Dreamcatcher, and that's its purpose. And so those companies, they become more like an ETF than they do an actual company, because they're just distributing out the work and choosing those things using bots themselves, even. Crikey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I had
I think you're right.
to give.
I'm gonna consume these acts and see what they're actually saying.
I'd love to hear about it, man. Like, those would be so interesting. All right.
Seismic.
I'll stop recording, eh?
Yeah, cool. And I